It wasn't much, really, the whole Jessica Feeney thing. If you look at it, nothing much happened. She was a girl who came into my class after the beginning of the year and was only there for a couple of weeks or so. Stuff did get a little crazy for a while, but it didn't last long, and I think it was mostly in my head anyway. Then she wasn't there anymore. That was pretty much it. That's the beginning of the book Firegirl by Tony Abbott. In this book, the main character, Tom, is a typical 7th grade boy, living in a typical suburban town, going to a typical school with other typical 7th graders. He spends his time like any other typical 7th grade boy. He hangs out with his friend Jeff, reading comic books and dreaming about riding in a red cobra. He daydreams about saving the girl that he has a crush on from life's perils using small superpowers. He thinks about the election that's coming up in his class. He doesn't expect Jessica Feeney to come into his life, and he isn't prepared for how the time she spends there will change him and maybe make him a little less typical. It's the end of September of Tom's 7th grade school year, and his teacher, Mrs. Tracy, says that she has an announcement. A new girl will be joining their class. The other kids in the class start to do all the typical things that typical 7th graders would do when they hear a new student is going to be joining their class. Some offer to be her lunch buddy, some offer to show her around. But then Mrs. Tracy says, there is something you need to know about Jessica. Then she goes on to tell them that Jessica has been in a fire and is very badly burned. She'll be going to their school while she has treatment at the hospital nearby. Mrs. Tracy tries to prepare them for Jessica and the way she looks, but Tom and the other students are not prepared for what Jessica looks like. As horrible as I thought the girl would look, when I imagined what burned people looked like, it was nothing compared to what stepped into the room. Jessica Feeney's face, the first thing everyone looked at, was like a mask. I looked at her, then away, and then back at her. I couldn't believe I was looking at the face of someone alive. For the next few weeks, Jessica is part of their class, but she's not there a lot of the time. She has to go to the hospital for her burn treatments, and Tom and the others find it much easier when Jessica is not there. The students spend a lot of their time at recess and other free time in the class speculating about how Jessica got that way, and sometimes they are very cruel. But meeting Jessica has a deep effect on Tom. He tries to learn more about her, and he researches burns on the internet. He spends a lot of time thinking about her. Then one day, when Jessica is there, something happens. A photograph falls out of her pencil case, and Tom reaches down to pick it up. The picture is of a man and a girl, and she's beautiful. She's smiling and happy, and Tom thinks, just for a second, could this really be her? Could this be Jessica? But then all the other kids start to notice what's going on, and even though Tom tries to give the photo back to Jessica, one of the other kids grabs onto Tom's hand and won't let him give it back. They just start asking all sorts of questions. That is when Jessica tells them that it is a picture of her sister. She looks like she's maybe in 5th grade, Rich said. Is she in one of the downstairs classes? It was quiet for a moment. Everyone was quiet, waiting for her to answer. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jeff sitting facing away from us, his legs sticking out between the 2nd and 3rd rows. Then Kayla asked, does she have Mr. McDonald? My brother would know her. I gave Jessica the picture back finally. When I did, her hand sort of brushed against mine. It was rough. A jolt of something electric went straight down my back to my legs. It felt as if a skeleton had just tapped my shoulder. She put the photo back in her pencil case and then gripped the zipper with her thumb and first finger and pulled. Is she in his class? Kayla asked, looking at each of us. She's not here, said Jessica. Her voice was unsteady. I felt cold again. Seeing Jessica fumbling to close the pencil case, I just wanted the questions to stop now. But everybody was looking at her. When Rich spoke again, it was the end of it. Where is she? He asked, glancing over at Jeff, who was still leaning back, saying nothing. Jessica pulled the zipper closed. She died. This book is a compelling story about adolescent kids and some of the difficulties they face. It's a great example of how some people can have an effect on you that will last a lot longer than the time that they are in your life. Firegirl by Tony Abbott.